Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out to Arweave. Really excited to be here. Excited about T plus 5 on Arweave and hopefully T plus 1 on the Permaweb. So today I'm going to talk about trading digital assets. And about a year ago, I had the opportunity to dive in and explore some services on Arweave and on the Permaweb, two main ones, Bundlr and Warp. And the topic I was exploring, maybe some of you guys remember, was called Datafy. And this is kind of an evolution to that concept. But one of the things that has changed over time, and I want to reiterate mainly for myself, is these principles that are emerging, at least as I build software, and that's complete, useful, and scalable. And then I'm going to echo Sam's words because they really resonate as well. Voice equals identity, speech equals data. And I really try to think about those things as I build things. So hopefully some of these innovations and movements are showing that. The stamps protocol is definitely one. V1 was released 3 weeks ago, and it's complete, useful, and scalable. And if you would like to learn more about that, I'd be happy to chat with you. But on to digital assets. What are they? Why use the Permaweb? And what does the solution look like? So many of you know what a digital asset is, but just to reframe it for this discussion and kind of my definition is I kind of think about it as three things. It's the data. That data can be ownable. You know who created it. And it's transferable, right? So if I created some data, I can transfer that to Nick. Nick can transfer that to Justin, right? So that's what I think of as a digital asset. Why use the Permaweb to trade digital assets, right? There's so many opportunities in crypto to do that. So why use the Permaweb? Well, there's many reasons. I'm going to talk about three. Reason number one, atomicity. Hopefully I said that right. Atomic, right? We call these things atomic assets. And for me, I think of atomic asset is that you cannot separate the relationship between the contract and the data. It's literally impossible to separate that. Arweave makes that impossible, right? To separate those two things. Thankful for SmartWeave and the Arweave tag system, we can marry those two together. We can marry data and code. So I think that's a very important differentiator when you ask why digital assets on the Permaweb. The other one is frictionless, right? So speed does matter. Speed matters for users. I was talking today about, of all topics that's probably everyone talks about every day, ChatGPT. But in this instance, I was talking about how anxious I get when I put in a prompt and it takes 10 seconds for it to respond, right? And anxiety comes over the average human and they're like, is the system broken? What's wrong? So, they created this thing of streaming of words. So when you hit a prompt and it just starts to stream one word at another, and the magic trick of that is your brain, starts reading it. So I was talking with a colleague, I said, like, if our system is slow, then we could just start streaming like, a quote of the day, right? And that would remove anxiety as a trick to kind of let humans ease into their results and they're not getting nervous to do that. But frictionless does matter. And innovations like bundling and SmartWeave really unlocks that, especially when you're moving value from one place to another. Users want that sense that it says it's done, it really is done, it's in my wallet, right? Um, and then fractional. Um, you know, everything is not yes or no, right or wrong. Everything is fractional. And the ability to take data and create these things with teams and create these things with multiple people and be able to, at day one, say, this is the value we're allocating to each member of the team. And you've got true on-chain permanent transparency of what is the proportional percentage of value that you're creating, right? And the opportunity to get a return on investment on that value. To my knowledge, Arweave and the Permaweb is really one of the only players that's trying to unlock this mechanism. So how does it work? With these components and these services, I think there's many different takes on how to do this. This is just one take. So in my mind, a trustless marketplace, right? If I have a digital asset and I would like to trade that, I would love to be able to do that as frictionless as possible with not having to trust or sign up for this service or that service, but just to be able to put it somewhere and then someone that I don't even know can look at that and, you know, purchase that asset without even having to know who I am or where I'm from. So I think that's one way to do this. And with this trading of digital atomic assets in our implementation, there's a few rules. And these rules, I think, can change. But for us, we have three basic rules. Atomic asset must be a SmartWeave token, which basically means it should have a transfer method and have a mechanism to show ownership, right? In my case, the balances object that shows who owns this token. The second one is what we call a foreign call protocol, but basically it means that I need to be able to have the ability to allow for another entity to transfer some amount of ownership from my wallet to somewhere else. A foreign call, right? And then finally, we need a contract to organize the trade or an order book. And I've been working on this on a little project that I created, really more of a prototype to kind of showcase these digital assets, and it's called PST. PST allows you to upload images, videos, PDFs, pretty much any kind of media type. And when you do it, it automatically attaches a contract to it so that you have an atomic digital asset. And as I launch this new phase of PST, I'll be launching a very non-artist set of images called eye blobs. And this is an eye blob. It's a blob with an eye. So hopefully you'll have some fun with that. I had a lot of fun making them, and they look kind of funny on the internet. So my son actually said, you know, you could release another set of them and call them the Y blob and just noses. So what do you think? Maybe that'll be cool. So anyway, all jokes aside, in any marketplace, and those were jokes, with the marketplace, we have the sell flow. So not to go too technical, but would happily talk further about this. But basically, when you upload your incredible work of art and you want to trade it, in PST, you'll go and click a trade button and you'll determine what percentage you want to trade. You can trade all 100%, you could trade 90%, you could trade 10%. And what happens behind the scenes is you're calling this allow function on your contract that says, I'm going to allow this order book to trade X percent. And what I would like in return is some sort of value. And that's where U comes in. So I'm going to say, I'm going to allow 90% for one U token. And I'm going to create that order. And that's going to put that in the order book. And anyone can come to that order book or the front page of PST and say, hey, look, there's a blob with an I in it. And it's for one U. Oh man, I only have a half a U in my wallet. So they can go and they don't have to buy the whole blob with an I in it. They can buy half a blob with an I in it. So they take out their U and instantly when they call allow, they allow the order book to transfer half a U into the creator's wallet. And then when they call create order, the transaction does the swap completely trustless. So there's no private server running in the background that if it, goes offline, it's got all the Ucoin. Everything's done on Arweave, 100% transparent with zero trust. And Justin comes up and it's like, yay, I've got half of an iBlob. And posts it on Twitter and shares it with the world. Super cool. So that's kind of the flow. And in the next few days, I'll be launching this flow on pst.gateway.io. And I would really love for you guys to check it out and give me some input. And let's see where this goes. But I do think that we have the tools now in place to start innovating in this shareable kind of marketplace. And I think more than just iBlobs, but I think we can build some really cool, usable services in this space. So thank you very much. And thanks to all of you guys for what you're building. It's awesome. Really appreciate it.